series at 2 apiece.
We are tied at 2-2.
It's going to be a long series now. It's best out of 3 games. Never get too high, never get too low.
It's 2-2. They responded to being down 2-0. Now we got to go home and respond.
You know, if you play a team 4 times in 7-8 days, you're going to have some bad blood.
We just keep fighting, continue to fight, we keep believing in each other.
This is what we bled for, you know, we sweat for in the tears.
We take our foot off the pedal. Come on now, let's play.
Lowry has been unstoppable.
Keep playing the way you are. We got to keep our focus.
A flamethrower Millsap in the first half.
Stay the course. We're getting great looks.
Oh, what a shot! That may be the dagger.
This could be a great Game 5.
A pair of Game 5s and a pair of 2-2 series. Pacers and Raptors from Toronto with Brian Anderson, Steve Smith, and Kevin Ray, and later Celtics and Hawks called by Kevin Harlan, Reggie Miller, and Kristen Ledlow. Here in Atlanta, Studio J, TNT NBA Tip-Off, presented by Auto Trader. Ernie Johnson, Shaq, Kenny, and Chuck. You're going to hear from them in just a second. When we left you last night, the Clippers were dealing with 2 major injuries: Chris Paul's broken right hand and Blake Griffin aggravating a left quad injury that sidelined him for half the season. Doc Rivers saying it didn't look good for either player and that we'd know more tomorrow. Here's what we learned today. Blake Griffin out for the rest of the playoffs after that quad injury was aggravated, and Chris Paul undergoing surgery this morning in Los Angeles to repair the right hand fracture. He will be out indefinitely. We talked about this at length, what this did to the Clippers' hopes. The thing that I find interesting there is that Blake Griffin ruled out for the playoffs indefinitely for Chris Paul, indicating there's a possibility that Chris Paul might be back before this is all over if the Clippers can get by the Portland Trail Blazers. They've got to win 2 out of 3 from that team now without Paul and Griffin.
Well, listen, they're not they're going to have a very difficult time getting past the Trailblazers, but they cannot beat the Warriors regardless. Chris probably going to be out. If he's not 100%, and especially without Blake, they can't beat the Golden State Warriors. Just a really bad break. I got so much respect for this guy because, as I've said all year, the last few years, he's the best leader in the NBA. He never complains about anything, but this put an end to their championship hopes.
Give me an idea, Kenny. If you're Doc Rivers, what does your starting lineup look like for Game 5 against Portland? Start with who starts at the point. Is it a given that it's Austin Rivers?
Oh, yeah,
or would you go with Jamal Crawford?
I would start Austin Rivers and keep Jamal Crawford. I have to have some type of consistency into my lineup. So the consistency is that Jamal Crawford is comfortable coming off the bench. He's the 6th man of the year. So I want to at least have him in his natural role. If I'm going to have other guys in their unnatural roles, at least I'll have one guy who's coming and playing the way he's accustomed to playing. So Jamal Crawford would come off my bench, Austin Rivers would start, and then at the power forward position, I just toss it up in the air and see what happens.
I'd go with Prigioni myself because he's a natural point guard. Rivers, to me, is more of a combination 1-2, but Prigioni is going to try to get other guys involved. Austin Rivers is
but who's the other guys? You see, my point
I'm
is,
talking at the point.
Right, but he's trying to get other guys who aren't really good scorers involved. So now if you have Austin Rivers, he's a scorer.
Yeah,
they don't have enough scoring without Blake and Chris.
But I'm saying, he won't be trying to get J.J. Redick the ball. Austin Rivers wants to score. He's a shoot-first guy. So he won't be getting J.J. Redick involved. He won't be trying to get Jeff Green. I think Jeff Green's going to be the guy. I think they're going to put Jeff Green in the starting lineup to go. And listen, they still got a chance.
Any chance Paul Pierce gets in the starting lineup?
No. This is not a senior home. I love Paul Pierce, but he's not going to start. Jeff Green played great last night, Ernie. He's going to start.
Where do you go?
I would have to agree with Chuck. I'd have to go with Jeff Green. I disagree about Austin Rivers. He is a shoot point first, but his coach is the father. His father will instruct him, hey, we need you to play like this. We need you to do this. I think they can win a few games, but championship, probably not. This is the first time I've seen the 1-2 punch of a championship contender go out at the same time. It's definitely a tragic blow But I'm not going to close the window on them yet. I do believe they could win this series and win some games, but I also agree with Chuck and Kitty. Getting past Golden State or the Spurs or Cleveland, no.
Going to be interesting. Yeah, going to be interesting on Paul, too. An orthopedist friend of mine I talked to, I said, look, if you're going to have surgery on your third metacarpal, and what is the earliest you could possibly return and play some basketball? He said, well, for a typical patient, it's going to be 5 weeks or so before you can do anything. He said, if you push it, maybe a couple of weeks.
Well, you
get that off.
Yeah, but Ernie,
so we'll see.
Number one, first of all, he can work on his condition. That's the only positive thing. But I don't think you want to try to guard Damian Lillard with one hand.
It won't be Lillard at that point.
Definitely not Steph Curry.
Pacers and Raptors coming up.